D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. Greetings, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to Big D's Entertainment Rankings and Reviews. My name is Dual, better known to as the Big D, back with another video. Today I'm going to be presenting you a much bigger vid of this. I'm going to show all my TV Toon series on DVD and or Blu-ray. Well, I have one on Blu-ray, everything else is DVD. Now, since my TV show collection on DVD and Blu-ray did so well, I decided to go ahead and do it, follow it up with the cartoons. Now, though I did this one time, but it was 80s cartoons. This time I'm going to show all of my cartoons on DVD, but this is only TV shows only, no movies featuring cartoon characters or anything. I do have a Scooby-Doo movie, which was Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brand of Bold, and I do have a Flintstones movies and specials collection. But I'm excluding those. This is all the series I have. So now, without further ado, let's get started. Here we go. First, I'll start with the almost complete series I have. First up, Batman the Animated Series. Yes, you can see I only have Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3, which actually would be the actual way to complete the original series, plus the Adventures of Batman and Robin. Unfortunately, I don't have the 4th volume, which has the new Batman Adventures complete series, and I didn't care much for that. I appreciated being darker, but I didn't appreciate how they did some of the characters and what have you. But this show is absolutely a great show and one of the best Batman tunes out there. You'll see some more Batman tunes come up later on. Now, here's the only season I have of this show. Super Friends. This is the, let's see, the 5th season from 1980. And this is a pretty good set. Now, of course, there is a new complete series that contains every single series of the Super Friends from the original from 1973 to 1985's the Superpowers Team Galactic Guardians. Now, of course, I've already done Saturday morning TV logs on those and things like that. Anyway, I love the original Super Friends. No, not just the original. I mean, all new Super Friends are good. Challenge of the Super Friends, good. World's Greatest Super Friends, not too bad. The 80s series plus the lost episodes, not too bad. Legendary Super Power Show, pretty good. And Super Power Team Galactic Guardians, also not that bad. Okay, let's get down to the bottom here. Now, here's a show that didn't get completely released. Conan the Adventurer from 1992. Yes, I didn't know about this show much, and I did see its sequel series, Conan and the Young Warriors, which came out after this had ended. This is a great show. Unfortunately, Shout Factory only released the first season, which aired Saturday mornings, and the rest was, well, 5 days a week. I have the first volume of Season 2, and the last one they put out, Part 2 of Season 2. They never put out a 3rd or 4th part, because... And anyway, so you'd have to stream the rest of the series. You can find the full series on Tubi. You can also find it on, let's see, you can also find it on YouTube, I do believe. This is a great show. I mean, Conan, the mightiest warrior out there, of course, along with his allies, which include Snag, Jasmine, Grey Wolf, Zula, and of course the baby Phoenix, Needle. They managed to help Conan in his quest to undo the spell of Livingstone cast upon his family, driving the evil Serpent Men back into another dimension and vanquish their leader, the cruel wizard Rathamon, who is a real scary character. Believe me, he's just about as scary as Serpentor from G.I. Joe. You'll see that later on. And now for the next one is the new adventures of the Lone Ranger and Zorro. Lone Ranger 1980, Zorro 1981. Unfortunately, the second volume came out right about the time BCI Eclipse, who put this out, kind of went bankrupt, and I failed to get that. I did get to see the rest of the Zorro series. Not much of the Lone Rangers, though. I did see a little bit of it on YouTube. Now, these next three are just collections and what have you. First off, Voltron, The Legend Begins. This contains the first 7 episodes of the classic series, which I need to talk about in a TV log. Voltron, Defender of the Universe. I used to love this show as a kid. I actually remembered having a Voltron raincoat when I was a kid. And of course, I still have a Voltron shirt, but unfortunately, I think I've outgrown it. Next up, the original Sabrina the Teenage Witch. You can see this is not the the layer series that was kind of a prequel to the live action show with Melissa Joan Hart. This is the original from 1969. Of course, this was spun off into its own series the following year from Filmation. Of course, this features the Archie gang and, of course, the titular character who always manages to get herself out of trouble by just giving a tug of her ear. Yeah, always a real fun show. Finally, the Saturday Morning Cartoons collection, containing all 5 sets of Saturday Morning Cartoons Warner Home Video had released. Yes, contain all sorts of great tunes, whether it's the Looney Tunes, maybe Scooby Doo, maybe Flintstones, or maybe superheroes, or I don't know what have you. But yeah, and that's about it. Stay tuned. All right, stick. I'm getting on sidetracked here. It took me some time to try and find that Super Friends set. Sorry. Anyway, stand by. The next sets are coming right up. Okay, this next stack I'm going to show you is my complete series sets, but in separate forms. You can see what they are a little bit, but I'm going to go through them in as best of an order as I possibly can. First up is The New Adventures of Superman from 1966. Now, this is the whole first season, and here's the second and third seasons. This was the first series to be aired on Saturday mornings by Filmation, which I got a lot of their material on DVD, and you saw some of their live action stuff in the TV shows collection. Anyway, I did see the segments of that, and well, now of course I've got them in complete form. Unfortunately, the Superboy cartoons aren't included. I do have one of the shows that aired with in the third season. I don't have any in the second one, which of course was the Superman Aquaman Hour of Adventure, which of course had Aquaman along with, well, 3 segments featuring the Justice League of America, Teen Titans, Hawkman, the Atom, the Flash, and Green Lantern. But I did stream the Aquaman series completely on M.A.S.K a few years back. But anyway, New Adventures of Superman's a great show. It was the last thing to feature the late great Bud Collyer, who actually voiced Superman in the Max Fleischer produced shorts, as well as on the radio. But I do have in 3 separate volumes, but it's the complete series, Superman, the animated series. Here's Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. I didn't catch the show much because we didn't have the WB, unfortunately. And I only caught a little bit of this. Cartoon Network briefly aired it. Now, unfortunately, Disney, well, Toon Disney actually aired this somehow. Well, long before long before Disney even had to deal with Marvel. But this is a good Superman cartoon. This is a great show and one of the greats. Even though it did kind of spin off that crummy game I know everybody hated on for the Nintendo 64. But of the whole, I think the Superman the animated series is great. I do love the villains, Lex Luthor, of course. Got me introduced to more Superman foes I wasn't too familiar with, like Metallo and Parasite, Livewire, Yeah, really something. This next show is another show I never got to see, even though it was from my youth in the 80s. Beverly Hills Teens. Now, this show's from 1987, and I say this is easily an underrated cartoon in my book. I mean, long before Beverly Hills Now 210, there was Beverly Hills Teens. Yes, where we get to meet all sorts of cool kids and what have you, like Lark and, well, see, Jet and Gig, um, Tara, Blaze. Oh, man, the list could go on and on for this and what have you. Anywho, this show's really underrated. I think you need to give this show a watch. You'll see its spinoff later on. Okay, now I'm gonna go to this one. Now, this is another show I didn't get to see much of, and that would be the Filmation Ghostbusters tune from 1986. Yeah, this unfortunately aired while I was still in school at that time, before I came home. And I failed to see this. I only got to see a little bit of it when I was out sick or when I was off from school. And I did see a video cassette, which I watched from the Just for Kids label. But anyway, yeah, this show's a little underrated. Now, I don't have the real Ghostbusters. I do have this show. I just needed to see it. I just absolutely love the great theme song. This, of course, focuses on the sons of the original Ghostbusters from the 1975 series, Jake Kong and A. Spencer. And they team up with their Pop's old primate companion, Tracy the Gorilla, to take on the monstrous Primeval and his minions. Yeah, really an underrated show, but we had some good characters. Futura is probably one of the highest on that show. Okay, and next up, here's now that's and this is Filmation's last show, Brave Star from 1987. Now this is another underrated tune. I never got to see this, nor had I heard of it. I didn't know too much of Brave Star, but this is a great show. A space western, what have you. Of course, as I'm showing you here, this is the best of set, and got volume 1 and volume 2. Of course, we have titular character, the Mighty Marshal Bravestar. There's his deputy Fuzz, and J.B. McBride, the judge of New Texas, and then of course Bravestar's Big Pard, the 3030. Anyway, this show is so underrated, but it's really cool. Tex Hex is a pretty scary villain. So is Stampede, and let me tell you, this show is just so awesome. You need to see this if you haven't seen it yet. And finally, for this part, I'm going to show you what I've got of Gem and the holograms. Now, of course, here's whoops, wrong season. Let's try that again. Here's the first season, the second season, and as had the misfortune to show you first season 3. My bad. Anyway, I loved Gem. Unfortunately, I was wanting the complete series set, but I failed to get it. But I decided to just go with these solo sets. Even if they didn't have the great special features the complete series had, it's perfectly fine. I absolutely do watch love watching this as a kid. This is a very good show with great characters. Jerka Ben, of course, is the titular character. She wears these gem star earrings to contact this computer being called Synergy, and thus she becomes Gem, and her sister Kimber and friends Aja and Sean become the holograms, and they go on exciting adventures and all sorts of things, perform their great songs, and especially competing up against that creep Eric Raymond and his rebel rocking gals, the Misfits, who are always causing trouble, especially for Jim and the holograms. But this is a great show. I absolutely love it. Stay tuned. The second part of this is coming up with bigger sets. These next sets I'm going to show you are, well, more separate sets, but still form the complete series though. Before I show the actual full complete series of some of these other shows, most of them were short-lived and well, some weren't. First, I'll start off with the big one. The first one I ever got. You can tell from this art that looks like Castle Grayskull. That's because it is Castle Grayskull. And by the power of Grayskull, it's the original He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. Now, of course, this is the BCI sets. Now, Universal actually released a big complete series set a few years back. Anyway, that's the best of set. Now, here's volume 1 of the first season. And the second volume. The first volume of season 2. And the second volume of season 2. Now, all these sets contain all sorts of fun episodes, all the fun episodes you could have with the most powerful man in the universe. As well as the Sorceress, Man-Arms, Teela, Ram-Man, and of course Orko, taking on old Bonehead himself, Skeletor, and his minions, including Beastman, Evil Lyn, Trapjaw, Whiplash, and all them others. Anyway, a childhood favorite of mine, He-Man, the Masters of the Universe, the original series, you can't go wrong with. I have seen the prequel series Cartoon Network aired. Now, I don't have New Adventures, though. Now, that is on Peacock. I might look into it one day, but I'm not guaranteeing that. But wait, there's more. If I have to have He-Man, I have to also have, you can tell by this, you see the Crystal Castle and the Fright Zone. You know what this means. For the honor of Grayskull, I have She-Ra, Princess of Power. This is the best of set. That also has The Secret of the Sword film. I have yet to review that, but I will do that before I do a TV log, a revisited TV log on the original She-Ra series itself. Okay, now here's Volume 1 of the first season. And the second volume of Season 1. And then, of course, we have Season 2. Anyway, now, of course, this focuses on Prince Adam, aka He-Man's long-lost twin sister, Adora, who was originally working with the film's villain, Hordak, and his minions at the Fright Zone. But now, of course, she, well, breaks free with the help of her long-lost brother, He-Man, and thus is now holding the Sword of Protection and becomes She-Ra. Along with Bo, Glimmer, Mamraz, Cowl, Cassispella, Frosta, and all them others, they take on Hordak and his goons, including Catra, Grizzlor, Leech, Montana, Scorpia, and many others. Great show. This show also got re-released by Universal, and they actually do, both sets do have the Secret of the Sword film as well as the He-Man She-Ra Christmas special. Very underrated special. But wait, here's more. Also from 1985. I have the original Thundercats, which I will also be doing a revisited TV log later on this year. Here's the first half of season 1 and the second half. I didn't get the chance to see this as a kid. I did have 2 book and recording sets, though, from Peter Pan Records. And here's the first half of season 2. And the second half of season 2. Now, although the series originally ran for 4 seasons overall, great show and great characters. I like the Thundercats: Lion-O, Cheetara, Panthro, Tigra, Wily Cat, Wily Kid, and of course Snarf, one of my favorite comical characters, although I liked Orko a little more. Yeah, he's real funny. And then we later got some others, including Linkso, Pumira, and Bengali. Of course, taking on Mumra and those blasted mutants, Slithe, the reptilian, the monkey, and the Jackalman, and of course sometimes the Vulture Man, though he was secondary. Anyway, this show is so cool. I absolutely love it. It's got a great theme song, and that's about all I can say. Okay, stay tuned. The next part's coming up with full complete series. Okay, we're almost done. Now for the complete series set, where I have all episodes in one whole set. First up, Hero High, the complete series. This is a segment from the Kid Superpower Hour with Shazam from 1981, which is actually one of the most viewed Saturday morning TV logs I've done. Of course, it features these zany heroes, which most of them appear in live action form throughout Kid Superpower. Captain California, Glorious Gal, Misty Magic, Dirty Trixie, Wereman, Rex Ruthless, and Punk Rock. Now, each week, these heroes and heroines, well, appear at Hero High. It's no ordinary school, it's an outside institute for out of this world learn for teenage heroes and heroines with super talents. A very underrated show, but it's really good. Next is The New Adventures of Batman from 1977. Unfortunately, my first disc is messed up. I'm going to try and get it cleaned or get the new re-release. But this is an underrated one. You'll see the original Batman series in a moment. Anyway, this of course brought back Adam West and Burt Ward from the TV show as a titular character, and Robin the Boy Wonder, since Olan Soleil and Casey Kasem were under license at Hanna-Barbera doing the Super Friends, which would return that same year. But anyway, together along with Batgirl and the zany Batmite, today take on villains old and new throughout this series. Very funny show, even though despite it toned down the violence, which I'm fine with that. Next is Black Star from 1981. Now, this show, well, it's actually kind of similar to Ruby Spears' Stannard the Barbarian. This actually came out right after that show. Of course, it's about an astronaut named John Blackstar who gets swept through a black hole and ends up in a mysterious ancient alien universe where he's trapped on a planet called Sagar, and there he's befriended by the Trobbits. And so, with their help, along with Blackstar's new allies, they take on the cruel Overlord, a dark magician who ruled by a weapon called the Power Star. But it gets split into two swords. Overlord has Power Sword, and Blackstar the Star Sword. Such a great show, but short-lived though. Same can be said for this series. This is another show from '77, and that's Space Sentinels, along with the Freedom Force from '78. Now, of course, it features the titular characters of Space Sentinels: Hercules, Astria, and Mercury. And of course, for Freedom Force, Hercules teamed up with Isis, Merlin, Super Samurai, and as well as Sinbad, who unfortunately not shown on this cover art. Anyway, Space Sentinels were chosen by Sentinel 1, and together they take on all sorts of bad guys. And on board for comic relief is the Maintenance Operator, or Mo for short. Great show. I think this show's so underrated. Most of these shows here are underrated, if you know what I mean. The same can be said for this show, The Biscuits from 1983. Wow, this is a very good show. This only lasted one season as well, and this is also one of the most viewed one of the few most viewed Saturday morning TV logs here on the channel. Of course, following in the vein of other shows that Hanna-Barbera put out, like the Smurfs or Shark Tales, this, of course, was about the smallest dogs in the world who live in the tiny Biscuit Castle, hidden deep in the swamp. And for years, these little canines well, have been entrusted by kings from long ago to their royal treasure them. But however, the wasteful King Mex and his companion Shecky are always after him, after the treasure and the biscuit, and a wildcat named Scratch. Good show. Now, since you saw Beverly Hills Teens a while ago, here's its spinoff, Maxie's World from 1989. Now, I only saw a tiny bit of this show, and I really wanted to see this, and didn't get to see a whole lot of it. But this show is so good. It's based off of the Maxie toy line from Hasbro. Although it wasn't as successful as Barbie nor Gem, this show is just so good. It's about this here gal who hangs out at Surfside, USA, with her friends, and she also hosts her own show and what have you. You need to check this show out, and you'll know, as the theme song says, good times are happening in Maxie's world. Next, here's another underrated show, The Super Six from 1966. Now, this is the very first series to be produced by the Patty Freeling. You know, the guys who gave us the Pink Panther cartoons. This features the zaniest group of superheroes who form the Super Service. Super Boing, who is seen the most, Captain Zamo, Grant Man, Super Scuba, Magneto Man, and Elevator Man, who happens to be the only hero to narrate his own short. Plus, in between two adventures with one of these members is the brothers Mazzarelli, a three-headed figure that causes some real craziness. Good show. Next is the complete series of Flash Gordon, or New Adventures of Flash Gordon from 1979, produced by Filmation. I think this show is so awesome. You can find this now. Fortunately, this is the only DVD release and it's out of print. There is a way you can see this series. It's currently on YouTube at the Comics Kingdom YouTube channel. You can also find it on Tubi as well. Of course, this follows the actual story where Flash, along with Dale, Arya, and Dr. Hans Zarkov blast off from Earth to planet Mongo. There they meet Emperor Ming and his Tsar Princess Aura. Plus, with their allies, like you'll see in the comic strips, like Thun the Lion Man, Prince Baron, and Voltan, the King of the Hawkmen, they do what they can to stop Emperor Ming every time. What a great show. Next up is Plastic Man, the complete collection. This has all episodes of the Plastic Man comedy adventure show from 1979, plus 3 Plastic Man shorts that aired in the following years. Plastic Man Baby Plus Super Comedy Show. Now, of course, this features Plastic Man from DC Comics, along with some couple new sidekicks, Blonde Bombshell Penny, his girlfriend, although he completely kind of tries to ignore her at times, and Hula Hula, who always causes bad luck, but always makes up for it when he finds someone who happens to be a contact for him. Great show. The show's actually back on TV on the Me TV Tunes channel. Check your local listings if you have that. Next is The Adventures of Batman from 1968. Originally airing as part of Filmation's Batman Superman Hour, this was the very first Batman cartoon to come after the cancellation of the Batman TV show. What a great show it is. I mean, it's got great music and what have you. You can't go wrong with the music in some of Filmation stuff, even their early stuff. Them taking on Joker, Penguin, Catwoman, Mr. Freeze, Riddler, and all sorts of others. What a show this is. The Adventures of Batman. If you don't have this show, I think you should get it. You'll really enjoy this. Same can be said for this underrated gem, Ruby Spears Superman from 1988. Now this came on CBS, coincide with the 50th anniversary of Superman. Well, of course, that same year we also got the Superboy TV show in syndication. Anyway, this show is so underrated. This show needs to be shown on TV again. I kind of wish it would. But anyway, it has a big Superman adventure and then ends with the Superman Family album, where it starts from, well, young Kal-El crashes in Smallville and becomes the adopted foster son of Martha and Jonathan Kent. Yes, going all the way up to his big debut as Superman in Metropolis. Next is Space Stars from 1981. Boy, I'm glad I got this set. This is a very good show featuring Space Ghost and the Herculoids in new adventures, along with um, Astro and the Space Mutts, featuring Astro from the Jetsons, and the Team Force, consisting of Kid Comet, Moleculad, and Elektra, facing off the Fiendish Uglor. Great show. This is a show you definitely need. It has all episodes restored because I never did see the show in its original form, just in a butchered down half hour form. And next up, I have The Brady Kids, the complete series. This has both seasons of this great animated spinoff of The Brady Bunch. I mean, of course, it features the voices of the original cast. Unfortunately, um, Barry Williams, Maureen McCormick, and Christopher Knight left after the first season, so Lou Scheimer's son and daughter took over for Greg and Marsha. I forgot who did Peter, though, but the other three stay on board. Yeah, which were Eve Plum, Mike Lookinland, and Susan Elston. Yep, absolutely really good. Now, give me a second. Okay. Next is M.A.S.K. Well, this is considered a complete series, but 10 episodes for the second season are not there. Now, I will talk about this series in a TV log coming up later on this year. Well, actually, later on this fall for Super Sci Fi September. Now, M.A.S.K. is a group of formed by Matt Trekker, who get into uniform and wear these special masks that have special powers and get into their vehicles and take on Miles Mayhem and his organization Venom. Great show. This was another childhood favorite of mine. I grew up watching that as a kid. Next up, Hong Kong Phooey from 1974. I loved watching this show when it was rerun. I saw it on the USA Cartoon Express originally. Then I got to see it on Cartoon Network and Boomerang. Great show. I definitely need to revisit this in a Saturday morning TV log one day, and it's just so great. Scatman Crothers does a heck of a job in voicing the titular character, and he does a great job with its theme song as well. Next up, the complete collection of the Star Trek animated series from 1972 from Filmation, and I think this is a good show. This is one of Filmation's greats, long before He-Man, featuring the voices of William Shatner, Leonard Nimoy, and DeForest Kelley as themselves. Well, they're characters from the TV show, of course. This picks up long after that series ended 4 years prior. New adventures aboard the spaceship Enterprise. What a show. And one heck of a thrill ride this show is, and I loved it. I first watched this when it was rerun on Nickelodeon, and it was really great. And now here's the latest thing, the only Blu-ray set of a cartoon I have, and that's Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles from 1966. Now, of course, that's also one of the most viewed Saturday morning TV logs on the channel. And it's actually one of the top 10, as a matter of fact. Anyway, now of course, the Impossibles, they're well, a rock group, but secretly they are undercover superheroes. Coil Man, Fluid Man, Multi Man take out all sorts of baddies. Frankenstein Jr. is a robot created by Professor Conroy and his son Buzz. They take on bad guys as well. Great show and great characters. I really love it. Stay tuned. The final parts just about to come up. Please stand by. Okay, now for the grand finale of this video, the big complete series sets. And I will be doing revisit TV logs on these two shows down the road. First up, the original G.I. Joe. This has both miniseries, of course, The Mass Device and The Revenge of Cobra. Of course, Mass Device from 1983 and then Revenge of Cobra from 84. Before it became an actual series in 1985. It has all the great characters we've known for many years if you've watched this, including Duke, Flint, Lady J, Sergeant Slaughter, Scarlet, Shipwreck, and let's see, Gung Ho, Roadblock, and all the others. Of course, take on, oh yeah, and Snake Eyes. They take on Cobra, led by Cobra Commander and all his goons, Baroness, Destro, Zartan, and all them others. The list could go on and on. G.I. Joe is a great show, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. Same can be said for this series, and this is the Transformers. This is the complete original series from 1984. All 4 seasons are here. And I absolutely love this show. I grew up with this, and it is wonderful. Seeing Optimus Prime and the Autobots taking on Megatron and the Decepticons, this is a great show. If you can find those sets for a good price, no problem. They're all available on Tubi and YouTube, and that's what counts. I think this show is so great, and I really do love this show. One of my childhood favorites. But none can be said for this show, the mother of all the DVD sets I have. And sorry it's still in the box. I want to keep it in here for safekeeping, but I still will take the time to watch this every once in a while. The complete series of the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yes! In a party van set, of course. I'll give you just a wee bit of a peek. Of course, here's them. Take off that. I'm sorry that little phone thing's come out, but I'm gonna be careful. I don't want to drop. And here's a DVD. Here's the first season. This is the full series. It has all 10 seasons are available. Now there is also a slimmer packaging release that came out a few years later, so I think you could get that for a reasonable price. But I do know the series has been recently been shown on Nickelodeon and on Paramount Plus. I just read Tubi's planning to get this as well. So this is a show that every 80s and or 90s kid should own. That grew up with this. I got to watch most of this as a youngster. It's one of my favorites. TMNT, the original series, you can't go wrong with. So there you go. There's my cartoons on DVD and Blu-ray collection. Well, that took longer than I thought, but I hope you liked it. What did you think? Do you have any of these shows, or did you grow up with any of these shows? Please feel free to let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, consider clicking the like button, subscribe, and be a part of the Big D Nation. Continue to help support my channel, make it grow and make the views grow. Tell all your friends about my channel, give them to know me. Maybe they'd like to be a part of my Big D Nation. Share my vids with your friends if you'd like as well. And next time, I'll be bringing to you a review of the 2010 remake or reboot of The Karate Kid. So if you like this, consider checking out these other vids. Here's some for the shows I've recently talked about. In the upper left-hand corner is my revisited TV log on He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. The upper right-hand corner is the Saturday morning TV log on the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Or if you would like, check out my TV shows on DVD or Blu-ray collection I did, well, a while ago this month. In the bottom right hand corner is the button you can click to subscribe. If you like rankings and reviews on movies, TV, music, video games, etc., then I'm your guy. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'm the Big D saying see ya.